Most people think discipline means forcing yourself to do hard things every day. But that's not actually the problem. The real problem is that most of us keep reopening decisions we've already made. And every time we do that, discipline becomes almost impossible. You decide you're going to train regularly. You decide you're going to wake up earlier. And you decide you're going to stop certain habits. But then the moment comes and suddenly the decision is back on the table. You start thinking, maybe tomorrow is better. I'm too tired today. One day won't matter. And now you are debating with yourself. The problem is that once that debate starts, emotions usually win. Not because you're weak, but because feelings change constantly. If every day becomes a new vote, discipline becomes very unstable. Now, the simplest rule I've found for building discipline is this: make the decision once and stop renegotiating it. Instead of deciding every day whether you feel like doing something, decide it once in advance. Then, when the moment comes, you don't ask how you feel. You simply follow the decision you already made. That one change removes most of the mental battle, because discipline is rarely about effort. Most of the time, it's about eliminating negotiation. Now, I saw this very clearly during my 3-week fast. The hardest part of the fast wasn't actually the physical hunger. It was the moments where my mind tried to renegotiate the decision. There were points where thoughts started appearing like, you could stop early, or you've already proven your point, or 2 weeks would also be impressive. And those thoughts sounded completely reasonable. But I realized something important. If I started debating with those thoughts, the fast would probably end right there. So I didn't debate. I reminded myself that the decision had already been made before the fast even started. The goal wasn't to decide every day whether I should continue. The goal was simply to honor the decision I had already made. And that made the difficult moments much simpler. Not easy, but simpler. Because instead of fighting a new decision every day, I was just following the one I had already made. This idea becomes very practical if you turn it into a simple framework. 3 steps. Step 1. Decide in advance. Don't wait for the moment when emotions are strongest. Decide before the situation happens. That's when your thinking is clear. For example, decide your training schedule before the week starts, not when you're tired at the end of the day. Step 2. Treat the decision like a rule. Rules remove negotiation. If something is a rule, you don't debate it every time. You just follow it. When I started treating certain decisions like rules instead of daily choices, things became much easier. And then you have step 3. Ignore the negotiation voice. That voice will always appear. It will always sound logical. It will always have good arguments. Remember, this is your brain we are talking about. But the most important thing is to recognize it for what it is. An attempt to reopen a decision that was already made. And once you see that, you don't need to argue with it. You can simply move forward with the rule. You can apply this principle to almost any area of life. Training is an obvious one. Instead of deciding every day if you feel like working out, decide your schedule in advance. When the time comes, you train. Not because you feel motivated, but because it's already decided. The same thing works with work or studying. Instead of asking yourself every day if you are in the mood to focus, create fixed blocks where you simply work. No daily debate. Even with habits like waking up earlier. If the rule is that you wake up at a certain time, the moment the alarm goes off, it's not the moment for discussion. It's simply the moment to act. What this does over time is something very powerful. You start trusting your own word again. And that trust is where real discipline begins. Because discipline is not about intensity. It's about becoming someone whose decisions actually carry weight. Not just for other people, but for yourself. For me, discipline became much simpler when I stopped trying to win a new battle every day. and instead I focused on one thing. Make the decision once, then stop negotiating with it. That's it for this video. I hope to see you again in the next video.